Shares in Constellation Brands moving higher today. Of course, this is the seller of Corona and Modelo Especial, America's biggest beer brand. There have been fears about economic pressure on the Hispanic community in the States, big consumers or important consumers for the company. Let's get more from Nik Modi, Managing Director and Global Co-Head of Consumer Research at RBC Capital Markets. Nik, always great to see you. Last time I checked, Constellation Brands shares were down about 40% over the past year amid fears over Hispanic consumers pulling back. I guess in some cases they're scared to leave their house with these ICE raids. But you are a bull on the stock. Tell us why you think it's a buy.
Yeah, Andrew. So, there's this big debate in the beer industry right now of what is structural versus what is cyclical. And for Constellation, we think the stock is being priced as though there is something structurally wrong with the brands or the company, where we believe it's more cyclical, more transient in nature, right? So if you think about it, if people aren't gathering, you typically consume beer in group gatherings, right? So take Cinco de Mayo. This year Cinco de Mayo was not very active, right? Mm-hmm. Because there were concerns over big group gatherings and potential ICE visits and raids. And so we have to cycle through this phenomenon. We believe once we kind of start lapping this in early 2026, we're going to start seeing Constellation's volumes return to positive volume growth, mainly because they're still gaining distribution and they're still gaining market share.
And talk to us about their beer and their wine division and their spirits business. How is that doing, broadly speaking?
Yeah, they've done a lot of restructuring in that business over the past several years. They've effectively trimmed it down sizably, where they're now just selling higher end wines, and they got rid of the predominant portion of their low end wine portfolio, which was really causing the drag on their growth. They've grown share of now their existing wine business for the past 6 quarters. Now, the reality is the wine category is also under pressure, as is the spirits category. But again, here we have a portfolio that is gaining share within the broader landscape of the entire category.
And you have a buy on the stock. Investors are missing value here, you think?
I think so. Usually at times like this where, there's a lot of fundamental pressure across the entire sector. Stocks typically get priced like there's some kind of structural problem. Now, in many cases, there are structural issues. But in the case of Constellation and some other names that we follow, we think there's a pocket of opportunity because we do not believe it's structural. We believe it's more transient in nature. If we're right, we should see this valuation start to expand over the coming 12 months.
Nik, we'll probably have to leave it there. I think, though, you say that there will be an overhang here. The worries, just the stress on the Hispanic community in the States because of these immigration raids, people who are entitled to be in America apparently being arrested. You say this will be something of an overhang for the stock for a while.
Yeah, I think until we start lapping the initial ICE activities from earlier this year. So let's call it around March. I think we'll start seeing some improved volume trajectory. And the good thing is expectations have already been reset, right? So as long as they continue to deliver or slightly exceed, you'll see the stock work even with the overhang.
Thank you very much, Nik. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
Nik Modi, Managing Director and Global Co-Head of Consumer Research at RBC Capital Markets.